And now, Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda commences tonight's satsang with a Sanskrit peace chant.
Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We begin with Mystic Song by Sri Swami Lalitananda, played and sung by Sri Swami Umananda and Rajneesh.
Our song tonight is called Holy Mother Ganges. I remember the first time I saw you shining in the early morning sun, with your sparkling waters flowing on, reflecting the clouds in the sky. The trees touched with you, danced in the Himalayan breeze, while the peacocks called to spring. Carry me in your arms to the sea of eternity. Holy Mother Ganges, may I be free forever. Oh, sweet river Ganges, just as you uproot unbending trees in your swift current, take my light and go away, away. May I be like the bamboo trees, bending in adoration and love. Carry me in your arms to the sea of eternity. Holy Mother Ganges, may I be free forever. For centuries the sannyasis with folded hands pray in the moonlight on the silvery sands, while your cool waters swirl and surge over rocks, giving a hope and joy unknown. We are recording from the ashram of our revered Guru, Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda in Miami, Florida. Today is May the 23rd, 2021, Sunday evening, and tonight Swamiji will be lecturing on the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. This is Series 2018, class number 121. And now Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda.
Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Om. Adorations, Lord Krishna, the preceptor of the universe, destroyer of the forces of darkness, and bestower of immortality. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, this is 13th chapter, Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga, yoga of distinction between the field and the knower of the field. Terminology should not confuse you. It's just a simple insight into self and not self. Vivek, discriminative understanding, is the highlight of this entire chapter. So presently in 23rd verse, Ya evam vetti purusham prakritim cha gunaihi saha sarvatha vartamanopi nasa bhuyo vijayate. He who thus knows the Purusha and Prakriti along with the Gunas. Purusha is the self. Self is same as Brahman. Prakriti is Maya Shakti of Brahman. While explaining the word, we are putting these two separate terms, Prakriti and Brahman. Purusha and Prakriti, from profound point of view, is one and the same. The magician and his magical power are not two different things. Though acting, so he who knows the Purusha and Prakriti along with the Gunas, though acting whichever way, is not born again. The state of enlightenment is to know the distinction between Purusha and Prakriti, separating the self from not self, naughty self. And when we say separate from Prakriti, Prakriti implies the role of the three gunas, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. These three gunas, they play negatively as well as positively, and they are constantly blended in human personality. A deep insight into the operation of the three gunas, that will be always a constant topic in the Gita. Now, if you have that complete knowledge, though acting whichever way, it doesn't mean that you are now being given freedom. in making statements, even if he were to kill all, yet he is not a killer. But why should he kill all? Why should he kill even a mosquito? The point is that all virtuous qualities, they are not practiced by enlightened sages. You'll be surprised. Because they are so natural. A flower doesn't practice how to be fragrant. When you practice it, then you have to buy some incense and spray over it. Use some artificial means. But there is no artificiality. Being good is very nature. Being forgiving, being compassionate, practicing the three da, not practicing, but automatically, with complete accomplishment of Dhamma, control of mind and senses, Dan, act of charity, serving, doing good to people according to led by your own karma. Your karma conditions you how much you can do. But whatever your karma allows, there is always an aspiration to help as many people as possible. Doing good. And inwardly, a complete awareness that the I am is not the body, not the mind, not the senses. I am is Purusha, Brahman. So the virtuous qualities in a sage become saj, spontaneous. Vidhi nishedh rahit. Vidhi means every aspirant has to be aware what to do and what not to do. But in the case of a sage, these vidhi nishedh both have no meaning. What he should do is automatically is in tune with God. And what he shouldn't do, but that's the deeper level. That doesn't mean that we don't advise sages. You must realize that I have already explained that sages are led by prarabdha. The only thing is their prarabdha karma doesn't create new karmas for them. But if their karma operates in three ways, swecha prarabdha, aniccha prarabdha, parecha prarabdha. Certain prarabdha karma is exactly in harmony with what seems very congenial, warm and cozy. Simple way to understand what seems according to the freedom of your choice. Swecha, freedom of your choice. Parecha, others are advising you and you follow others' choice. anicca, something has developed, and it is neither according to your approval nor the approval of your associates. And yet it happens. Earthquakes, wars, some shocking changes occur like viruses. In spite of all this, a deep-rooted awareness, I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am, that am I. Aham Brahmasmi. This is the description of Vidhi Nirodha Rahit. Now there is no vidhi what he should do. Otherwise, every aspirant has a list of things what you should not do. And similarly, what you should do. But when do and don't both become spontaneous from your personality, that's your goal. Sadhana with effort, that's the means to an end. Sadhana without effort, that's the goal of yours. Sadhana has come into the state of siddhi. Dhyanenatmani pashyanti kechit atmanam atmana anye sankhena yogena karma yogena chapare. Now your attention is being given to the four aspects of yoga. Dhyana yoga, jnana yoga, karma yoga. These three are mentioned in this verse. Succeeding verse, the fourth, upasana, bhakti yoga. So all the four yogas, they are integrated in your human personality. That's called what we call it, integral yoga. I'm giving you a very simplified version. Dhyanenatmani pashyanti kechit atmanam atmana anye sankhena yogena karma yogena chapare. Some behold the self in the self through meditation. Others do so by the yoga of knowledge, jnana yoga. Others by yoga of action, karma yoga. All these yogas are four aspects. Human personality is a blend of reason, that's the role of your intellect, feeling, the role of your sentiments, willing, that's the role of Raja Yoga, meditation, and karma, the role of performing action. Everyone is in a different level of spiritual evolution. Depending upon it, in some, karma yoga becomes highlighted. And they always find it very happy to be involved in activity that allows their heart to be purified and fulfilled. But if you are succeeding in karma yoga, you are automatically succeeding in bhakti yoga, dhyana yoga, raja yoga, and jnana yoga. All four yogas, they are linked together. From a profounder level, you are just a yogi. Different swaras, melodies become blended when you are a great musician. So these four chords, reason, emotion, will and action, they become well harmonized. That's the picture of integral yoga. And yet, some may feel I'm only a jnana yogi. I don't believe in any other yogas. I'm exaggerating. He's not so stupid to say that. Or I'm a bhakti, and he will be always promoting bhakti over all other yogas. So all this is to be understood. Anye tevamajanantah shuttvapnye bhavya upasate tepi chatarancheva mrityum shruti parayana. Others who do not know this worship the self based upon what they have heard from others, from advanced souls. They too, devoted to listening to the teachings of the scriptures, cross beyond the ocean of the world process. This is the path of upasana. It begins with shravanam. By listening to the teachings of the sages and saints, devotion is awakened in your heart. And this puts you on the steps of devotion. There are 9 modes of devotion. Shravanam, listening, kirtanam, when you listen and you are assimilating what you have listened to, joy enters your personality. And so therefore, you are not just happy, but you are dancing, you are singing. Kirtanam, that's the second level, Shravanam, Kirtanam. Smaranam, each time a thrilling inspiration comes when you are singing a certain prayer, Sabko Sanmati De Bhagavan. रोम रोम में राम रमा है, कण कण में घनश्याम बसा है. When you sing these types of inspirational songs and it enters your heart, it brings a thrill in your personality. And that movement is a smaranam. You are recollecting all positive experiences, inspirational experiences from many lives. And of course, you don't have to go through lives. Your source is God always within, with the boundless source of inspiration. Pada Sevanam. Now, therefore, your seva karya, any service you do, you are rendering service for your swajan, near and dear one, or to your neighbor, or any human being, bird, animal, anywhere. It is a form of touching the feet of God. Pada sevana. Otherwise, you can take it very restricted meaning, going to the temple, not look at the whole picture of the deity, but look at his feet. Offer flowers, put your head down at the feet. All this is commendable, but this is a ritual level. Ritual level is to awaken what the ideal is. The ideal is act of goodness. With the spirit of you are serving the feet of God. That goodness gives you the footprints, how God has walked. And you ascend. So Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Vandanam. You begin to shed me and mine. And that's how you bow down. Me and mine are assertive. Your neck is tight. And you cannot put your head down. I'm jokingly explaining. But if me and mine is not there, you are completely flexible. You bend it down. That's what the implication, nama. Every mantra has a nama, neither me nor mine. And that gives you the idea of vandanam. Now, you become channel of God in 3 stages. Dasyam, you become instrument in divine hand. You are following the God is Upadrashta, overseer, and you are Nimitta Matram, Upadrashtanu. Anumantacha, God is Upadrashta, overseeing, and now you become aware that God is guiding your steps. And so therefore, you become completely surrendered to God. Not absolutely, but this is a very high quality of surrender. That's called dasya bhav. You are very literally, I am a slave, God is the master. The slave term not in any way negative. It implies absolutely inspirational. And next, sakhyam. You don't view yourself a slave, but a friend of God, like Arjuna and Krishna. And Atmanivedanam, ultimately Atmanivedan is a madhurya bhav. God becomes such a beloved that you become blended with God. So all these are the steps of upasana. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. Yavat sanjayate kinchit sattvam sthavara jangamam kshetra kshetragya sanyogat tadviddhi bharatarshava. O best of the Bharatas, know that whatever exists, every being or object, whether animate or inanimate, has been born by the conjunction of the field and the knower of the field. There is a mutual identification between Purusha and Prakriti, between self and not self. This identification is due to ignorance, avidya. Mutual identification called anyonyadhyas. When fire becomes very red hot, iron and fire both have become identified. Which is fire, you can't point out. Similarly, self and not self have become identified in such a way that for the masses, very difficult to separate. But as you follow the sadhana, a separation begins to occur as you practice viveka and vairagya. At this stage, let me remind you of the basic Vedantic description. Brahman alone exists. Prakriti is his magical power. And Prakriti plays three roles: Vidya, Avidya, and Tamasi Prakriti. Sattva predominating Prakriti is Vidya, knowledge. Rajas predominating Prakriti is Avidya, ignorance. Tamas predominating is Tamasi Prakriti. Brahman through Sattva predominating Prakriti plays the role of Ishvara. Brahman through Rajas predominating Prakriti plays the role of countless souls that are evolving. And through Tamas predominating Prakriti, Brahman spreads out in the form of 5 tattvas and in the form of all the material world. Not only material world, all the body, mind, intellect, ego, all are product of tattvas, panchabhutas. Samam pashyan hi sarvatra samavasthitam ishwaram nahi nastyatmanatmanam tato yati param gatim. The Supreme Self abides equally in all beings. And though these beings perish, that Self is imperishable. Where is God? People in the beginning have such limited view of God that you have to be guided by people around you about temples, holy places, tirthas, ashrams, there is God. And it requires a lot of effort to prepare to go to God. From a profound point of view, God is ghat ghat mein hai sai ramata. God is everywhere. Every particle of dust that comes to your nose is indwelt by God. Every pore of your body is indwelt by God. And most highlighted understanding, you are essentially the God, because you are reflected self, jiva. How can jiva be different from the sun? Sun is the real self. What's the difference between reflected self and the real self? Difference is only illusion, apparent. So samam sarveshu bhuteshu. Therefore, that God is ever the same. Think of different pots of water and different types of reflected suns. They appear different, but in reality, it is the same sun that is agitated in one vessel, and that seems to be losing all its brilliance in another one. In the third one, it's coming clearer shine. Though apparently it seems that God is not equally present, but in reality, God is ever-present reality. No matter what type of cinema show you see, screen is ever present behind the show. That screen type of reality within is Brahman. That's called Purusha. All the projections that come, they are in the realm of Prakriti. So to have distinction between Purusha and Prakriti, you must require to have a deep insight into Bhava Pratyaya and Pratyaya Bhava. Bhava Pratyaya, how things appeared under projection. And that's where there is a field of all the world process. The entire picture of samsara, bhava-vyadhi, disease of the world process. The journey of the soul from bondage to release. All this is in the realm of bhava pratyaya, in the realm of projections. Yoga chitta vritti nirodha. These are all work of chitta vritti, which means projections. When chitta is not involved in creating vrittis, then it becomes pure chit. If cinema show is withdrawn, then the very reality behind the show continues to shine. That's the screen. The reality behind the show is pure consciousness. Param Chaitanya, Chinmaya. That continues to shine. Whoever sees that he truly sees. Samam pashyan hi sarvatra samavasthitam ishwaram nahi nastyatmanatmanam tato yati param gatim. He who sees the self abiding equally in all beings does not hurt himself by himself, and thus attains the supreme goal. An important point to understand. Who is hurting you? Don't always look for other sources. But you are the one, you hurt yourself. And you are the one who save yourself. Uddharet atmanatmanam. By your own self, you bring degradation. By your own self, you uplift yourself. Both movements require understanding of the role of gunas through your mind. If tamas and rajas, you allow the tamas and rajas to dominate, you are degrading yourself. Allow sattva to flourish, then you are uplifting yourself. One moment. To develop alertness, to have a good introspection, and don't permit negativity to dominate your mind, because you have always choice. And also by your experience, you can turn your mind from negative to positive. Satsanga allows you to turn your mind from negative to positive. When you do acts of good deeds, acts of service, what's known as pada sevan, your mind gets inspirational. So see your mind moving in a negative way, continue to contradict it by your positive movement. Satsangatve niyasangatvam. And that will require abhyasa. Repeated effort is not one day's simple job. Life is always to be involved in flowing on, being bright like a river, not stagnant. And it flows on means you are practicing abhyasa and vairagya. Lifting up your mind again and again, and leading your mind through 7 steps of wisdom. Let me just remind you of the 7 stages. Shubhecha, aspiration. Vicharana, a constant awakening of who am I. So vichar continues to brighten your mind. Just like you have a lot of dark darkness that seems to terrify you, but at the same time you have opened the window and you are seeing the light coming. Just a matter of a future forecast of good morning, guten Morgen. So that vichar movement. Tanu Manasi, third step. Now the malas in your mind begin to be sublimated. Not completely, but they stay in very subtle form, in the form of samskaras, vasanas. And those subtle form is also dissipated in the fourth step, sattvapatti, when sattva, free from the domination of rajas and tamas, permeates your mind. That's the state of jivan mukti. It is not a state where you have become completely full of happiness, but that full of happiness goal becomes secure. Once the goal is secure, you are practically considered jnani, jivan mukta. All that you have to do is wait for other steps to come in, and they will occur spontaneously. Other states after sattvapatti, asam sakti, living in the world, facing all challenges, patatyangar varshecha, vati va pralayanile, even if embers, burning embers were to shower from the sky, or vati va malayanile, or gentle breeze of laden with sandal fragrance were to blow. One who has attained that state, his inner serenity is not destroyed, is ever unshaken. And that's called asam sakti. You remain detached, just like you are working with vegetables, etc., with your hands moistened with oil. Now your hands will not pick up glue. Moistened with bhakti, devotion to God, you are not going to be entangled by the world. Neither in whether the things are going on positively or negatively, that doesn't matter. So, that asam sakti leads you to padartha bhavana. All is absent, just like in deep, deep sleep. Completely unruffled silence. The question of removing distraction doesn't arise. In the beginning of your sleeping movement, you are complaining, this is upsetting me, that is upsetting. That sound is disturbing my sleep. And then you are upset by your own thoughts. But when you go into deep sleep, nothing upsets you, nothing is happening. The deep sleep state, in a very positive way, the positive counterpart of deep sleep is padartha bhavana. And seventh step is turiya. It transcends all descriptions. And with this, I'm going to conclude. Om. Om. Ram, 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 Ram. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om. Prayer for shower of Karunamaya Ras, grace of God over all of you, with the blessings of Shakti, Bhakti and Mukti. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukum Vabandhanan Mrityor Mukshiyama Mritat. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Hari Om Tat Sat.
Just a special note before we conclude. This Tuesday, Swamiji's regular Yoga Vashishta lecture will be held at 7:30. But on Wednesday, special note, you'll be able to hear Swamiji's special message for Buddha Purnima instead of the Yoga Vashishta lecture. And we conclude.
Om Shri Satgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Thank you, Swamiji.
Yeah.